My name is Emily, and I'm 32. I have a younger sister, Sophie, who's now 30. And for as long as I can remember, I've lived in her shadow. No matter what I did, it was always, look at Sophie. Since childhood, Sophie was the golden child. When she started gymnastics, our parents drove her to practice 3 times a week, bought her everything she needed, and bragged about her achievements to anyone who would listen. When I asked to join an art class or learn an instrument, my mom would brush me off with, "You don't need that, you're not serious enough." Even when I brought home great grades, the response was, "That's expected." But Sophie, she's facing real challenges. My entire teenage life was shaped by this constant comparison. Sophie was prettier, thinner, more popular. When we walked down the street, strangers would always compliment her, never me. Our parents worshipped her. She could scream or slam doors, and they'd still defend her. Me, I was expected to stay quiet and behave. Small blue diamond. My marriage. At 30, I met James. Kind, thoughtful, supportive, the kind of man who saw something in me that no one else ever did. He loved me for who I was, not in spite of it. After a year of dating, he proposed. When I told my parents, their reaction was cold. My mom actually said, "Don't you think it's a little soon? Sophie isn't even engaged yet." My dad just shrugged. At the time, I still hoped they'd come around. I had no idea how far they'd go to maintain the family dynamic, where Sophie was always the center of attention. Small blue diamond. A wedding without them. As James and I planned the wedding, his family was incredible. His mom helped me pick my dress. His dad offered to cover the venue deposit. They treated me like their own. My parents? They didn't ask about the date, didn't offer help, didn't show the slightest interest. Still, I invited them, formally, by card, over the phone, and even in person. But on the day of the wedding, none of them showed up. Not my mom, not my dad, not Sophie. I stood in my wedding dress, beside the man I loved, with a hollow ache inside. I was happy, but also, deeply hurt. James saw it in my face and whispered, "You have a new family now. We're in this together." Small blue diamond. After the wedding. A few days later, I called my parents. "Why didn't you come?" My mom calmly replied, "We never got the invitation. Maybe it got lost in the mail." A blatant lie. They did get it. I had proof. My dad even replied to a text about it with, "We'll think about it." And then they dropped the real reason. They said I had done it to hurt Sophie, that I had stolen her moment, that I was jealous and wanted to ruin her future wedding. I sat in stunned silence. Then, for the first time in my life, I pushed back. I told them how it felt growing up, always overlooked, always second best, always invisible. I told them how their favoritism had broken me in ways I was still trying to heal. And their response? "You're overreacting. You always take things too personally." Small blue diamond. My sister crossed a line. A couple of weeks later, Sophie sent James a series of messages. Manipulative, condescending texts about how I was dramatic, how her version of events wasn't accurate, and how James should be careful not to get dragged into my drama. He showed me the messages. And instead of crying, we laughed. It was just so transparent. So ridiculous. So sad. And also, freeing. Small blue diamond. The perfect image crumbles. I slowly distanced myself from them. I didn't block them. I didn't curse them out. I simply stopped trying. And something interesting happened. Our relatives started noticing. Some asked why my parents hadn't attended the wedding. A few were genuinely shocked. Eventually, the truth started to surface, about the favoritism, the manipulation, the emotional neglect. When Sophie's wedding came around, many people refused to go. One of my aunts told my mom straight up, "You don't get to support one daughter by erasing the other." Their perfect family image, carefully polished for years, began to crack. And they couldn't control the narrative anymore. Small blue diamond. Now, my mom called me a few times afterward, trying to talk things out, but not once did she apologize. Instead, she kept saying things like, "You know, we've had a hard time lately. Sophie's just more sensitive than you." No accountability. No remorse. And that's okay. Because now, I'm free. I'm no longer chasing their approval. I no longer wait for my mother to say, "I'm proud of you." I don't need it anymore. I have love. I have peace. I have a home. I'm surrounded by people who choose me, not because I'm convenient, or beautiful, or their favorite, but because I'm me. And for the first time in my life, I'm truly happy.